Hello, beer tubers, and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hobbits, checking out another West Coast beer that I picked up on Beerdome from one of their big American releases. And yeah, I just had to get this one. I had to get Brujos. I mean, there was two Brujos beers. They were crazy expensive, but I had to get them because I want to try Brujos, and I really like the aesthetic. I really like everything about it, and the beers have been really good so far. So yeah, Sam and what he's doing at the site there in Portland and his team is just crazy. I mean, it is so me being a metalhead. So Brujos, a great brewery. As I said, I've reviewed a couple beers from it now, and we're very lucky to see their beers here in Europe, although it's very small amounts and mainly geeks who buy them because, you know, they're pricey. But we're trying a West Coast beer, which is awesome. They brought over a West Coaster. And this has been part of the Cuatro Jinetes series. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I do not speak Spanish, but it means the Four Horsemen in Spanish, and this is the Simcoe variant. So they released a series of Four Horsemen inspired beers where they had one for a different hop. So there was Simcoe, Mosaic, Citra, and Nelson. And two of them were West Coasters, which was Simcoe and Mosaic, and the other two were hazies. And they basically, the idea was a showcase of the given hop in either like single IPA, double IPA format, as far as I remember. So this is a single IPA, 6.9%. It's double dry hop. It's 69 IBUs, and it's Simcoe in various forms. So you probably got some of the Dyna Boost, or what was called YCH 702, right? I'm not sure, but one of the flowable Whirlpool extracts. You probably got some cryo hops, some regular T90 pellets. Maybe I'm not sure, because they just also did some trial runs of like a dry hopping extract, similar to what they do at Freestyle. And they just have done trialing with that at Yakima, and I think it just got released now, and it's got a names, also something Boost, I can't remember. But it's various different forms of Simcoe, and as soon as I popped this, it's just like, wow, this is literally like smelling a bag of Simcoe hops. It's not a hop, it's not like my all-time favorite hop, but it works great in West Coast beers, and it plays fairly well with others. So you just got to be careful to not go overboard unless you want to showcase it, or unless you have some really good Simcoe. It also depends on the crop. But this looks like a modern West Coast IPA. Look at that. It looks like a glass of Pilsner. Very, very, very bright, pale, golden yellow color, fairly clear. This has actually got a decent amount of a little small white head compared to some. I feel like it's not like the best head retention in the world, but these beers, I'm guessing it's because of massive amounts of hops, and then also other things. I'm guessing that it's the hop oils that really make the head not too good. You see the same in a lot of hazies, but it looks great. It looks like the modern West Coast style. Let's check out the aroma on Cuatro Jinetes Simcoe by Brewos. Thanks to Beerdome for the beer. That is catty frickin' Simcoe. That is like, this is so fun. It's been a couple of weeks I used Simcoe in a West Coast IPA, and smelling this is just such a great showcase of the hop, and smelling it also, you know, really speaks loads of why West Coast beers are the best way to showcase the actual flavor of the hop, because with the hazies you get all the yeast flavors and whatnot combined with the hops, but this is like smelling a bag of fucking Simcoe. Like, it's sticky, it's dank, it's resiny, it's slightly pineapple-y, but also a little bit oniony, grapefruity. Like, it's got all the notes you associate with Simcoe, but it's definitely, you can smell this is really good Simcoe, because it's got more like bright, sticky dankness and fruitiness than pure onion. Like, sometimes you get Simcoe, and also sometimes Mosaic crops that are so onion garlicky, like it's too much, and hops like lots like that. Whirlpool. But the thing is, like, when you're in Europe, you can't crop select the same way they do in the States. And like, you have to be rather large, or I guess really well known, but this just smells banging. This is so like saturated in like pineapple kush and like catty, really catty dankness. Like loads of weed. Smells really good. There's also a little bit of a gummy candy thing. Let's try it. Cheers. And thanks a ton to Beerdome for the beer. That is fucking Simcoe galore. That's really good. It's funny. I have planned out 3 West Coast IPAs. We're starting with the American hype stuff, and we're going to try some European afterwards, just to compare, like get in tune. Because I have a feeling this brewery might be able to compete from what I've been told. But this is great. This is such a great showcase of Simcoe. This is another case of you can taste that there's a nice bitterness. It's 69 IBUs, but this is from flex or extract or something like that because it's so clean. Like it's not a, it's definitely, it's more, I think it's more bitter than the electric beer I just had. At least it feels more bitter, but that could also be because there's a little bit of like a spicy, grapefruity kind of Simcoe flavor that will help amplify the idea of bitterness in your mind. But it just, like using extract for bitterness, it kind of shows you when brewing these beers that the IBU wars and IBU and people will talk about how bitter is that beer. Like it's a bit of nonsense because like you can put in 100 IBUs with extract. It's not going to feel the same. Or like, just like this 69 IBUs with extract in a cold whirlpool. It's not going to feel the same as 69 IBUs with kettle hops and a hot whirlpool. That beer is going to be so much more like scraping and bitter. I really think that's a big part of it. But I like it. I like that it's not just like a pure onrush of bitterness. Like it's there and it's forward, but it's not like abrasive and aggressive. It could maybe have just a teensy weensy bit more, but not necessarily a lot. Like this is around where it's supposed to be. I'm thinking like the reason why maybe also like of all the Cuatro Jinetes beers, this was the lowest rated. I think it's because it's Simcoe. Because it's so catty, it's a bit earthy, but it's really nice. Like this is really good Simcoe. It has that like pineapple character you sometimes can get with Simcoe and that like catty, dank, weedy note, which is really nice. Underneath all that, there's also like a little bit of like a gummy candy note that I talked about. Maybe even like almost like Southern Hemisphere type notes or something like that. Like a little bit of that, like, that's not gooseberry, but there's like a slight berry thing. But it's just impressive how this just reminds me of just sticking my head into a fresh bag of Simcoe hops. But this is also, you know, showcasing like Simcoe can really do well on West Coast. I think it's a hop that can be really well done with others, but man, if you have good crops, it does really well on its own. There is such a layered hop flavor to this, and it's one hop. But the key here is also using the hop in various different formats. So you get the extracts, the cryo, the T90s, like whatever, playing around with all these different formats of the hop to just build complexity when you're just using one hop, because you will. And also mixing lots, so it's not the same lot of hop. That also helps, because you're not going to get the same lot if you're using like cryo and extract and all that. You can build complexity with the same hop, where you'll get different flavors because it's different lots or crops. It's, you know, stuff like that makes beer great. Like where you layer and think about how you layer flavor and just instead of chucking in random stuff. It's also really good West Coast, and it's so crisp and clean. I still think, just as with the electric one, I've had better. Like some of the stuff I've had from Ghost Town has been better. Some of the stuff I've had from Shred has been better. They actually just did a Shred collab at both Shred and at Brewos, and I think the Brewos one just came out. It's called To the Death. I'd love to try that one. But I think also a key here is like freshness. I think this is at least 2 months old or so. Like it's still very vibrant and tasty. But for me, I love to drink hoppy beer within like the first 4 weeks of packaging. That's usually around the 4-week territory for me. That's the sweet spot where like everything's just still like really fucking aggressive, but not too aggressive. And you get like loads of awesome hop flavors. You can also feel it saturated. It has like that drying bite to it that you get when beers are heavily hopped. But yeah, Brewos is doing some killer stuff. Like this is great modern West Coast IPA. It's the crisp, clean, light malt backbone with all the hop flavor and a nice, clean bitterness that you want. And then it has a touch of that old school fare because you do get some of that resin a little bit, even a whiff of like evergreen. But it's really good. So yeah, did I say 92, 93 on the electric? So maybe 92 on the electric and then 93 on this, because this is very nice. So yeah, good stuff. If you guys love West Coasters, you'll love this. So Brujos Cuatro Jinetes Simcoe, very nice stuff. And I hope you guys got to try it. So if you had it, let me know what you thought of it. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notification about videos. And I'm going to say cheers and thanks a ton to Beerdome for the beer. And see you guys in another beer review. And the reason why I talked about freshness as well, it's going to be interesting because this other beer from Europe is fresher than these. And that's why I'm thinking it might win, because freshness often always wins. But cheers. See you guys in another beer review.